Good morning, dear students. In this session, let us study the poem The Bus, written by Arun Kolatkar, a Marathi poet. Arun Kolatkar was born in the year 1932 and died in the year 2004. He was a Marathi poet who wrote with ease in Marathi and English. He deals with many themes like obstacles, religious dogmas, blind faith, superstitions, religious practices that are prevalent in society. He shows how common man is easily deceived and affected by these things. He is a poet of common man and society. He has influenced many Marathi poets by his works. The impact of tradition, culture, and blind faith turn the Indians religious minded. But the poet sees everything in the light of reality, logic, and scientific explanation. So, society is now turned into mixed culture, tradition, and thoughts. Kolatkar, with his trans-historical and cross-cultural images, wants to show the society and the culture in his poems. He has received Sahitya Academy Award in 2005 and Commonwealth Writers' Prize in 1977. His first collection of poems in English is Jejuri, based on his visit to the pilgrimage site of the local Maharashtra deity Kandoba. His other English poetry volumes are Kalagoda poems and Sarpa Shastra. His poems are totally different in structure, themes, and styles. The peculiar choice of words and phrases, liberty in using language, and a complete absence of punctuation marks are some of the remarkable features of his poetry. His diction is quite simple, clear, and appropriate. His Marathi verse collection Bijiki Wahi won Sahitya Academy Award in 2005. Let us come to the poem The Bus. The poet describes the journey and he describes the state transport bus in which the pilgrims travel. The tarpaulin flaps are buttoned down on the windows of the state transport bus all the way up to Jejuri. You see the absence of punctuation marks in the stanzas. The bus is an old one and it belongs to the Maharashtra State Transport Department. Unlike the today's bus, the windows of the bus of that period were covered with tarpaulins, not with the glass windows. So the tarpaulins which cover the windows of the bus are flopping and a cold wind keeps whipping and slapping a corner of tarpaulin at your elbow. People who are sitting by the window side are experiencing the whipping and slapping of the tarpaulin. The cold wind is blowing very strongly. It keeps moving the tarpaulin which is covered for the windows. It is slapping and whipping the people who are sitting by the window side. You look down to the roaring road. The bus is on the way to the Jejuri, the temple town, and it is roaring. The wind, cold wind is roaring outside. So the people are searching for the signs of daybreak. People are very eager to reach the daybreak or the temple. So it means to say that they started their journey by night. They are expecting the daybreak early. They are moving from darkness to light. They are expecting little light spills out of the bus. So in these three stanzas, the poet describes the journey of the pilgrims to the temple town Jejuri. He personifies the wind, which is whipping and slapping. Journey starts at night, and the passengers or pilgrims are waiting for the signs of daybreak. In the next stanza, the poet says, "Your own divided pace in the fair of glasses, on an old man's nose is all the countryside you get to see." Your own divided pace in the pair of glasses, on an old man's nose. An old man is also a pilgrim, a passenger in the bus. He is wearing spectacles on his nose. A passenger's face is reflected in the spectacles of the old man. So the pace is divided. Is all that the countryside you get to see. Since it is night, they cannot see anything more of the countryside. They can see only their images in the uh, pair of glasses the old man is wearing on his nose. You seem to move continually forward toward a destination just beyond the caste mark beyond his eyebrows. He describes the old man who is wearing the pair of glasses on his nose. The bus keeps moving continuously towards a destination that is Jejuri town, a temple town, just beyond the caste mark beyond his eyebrows. The old man is wearing a caste mark on his forehead or on his eyebrows. We can see that. Passengers are of different kind. Outside, the sun has risen quietly. They have almost reached the temple town. They started by the night. They reached the destination by daybreak. The sun has risen quietly. It seems through an eyelet in the tarpaulin. The poet very clearly says, the sun rays are peeping through the eyelet in the tarpaulin. There are holes in the tarpaulin which are covered on the windows of the bus. The sun rays are peeping through the eyelets or holes in the tarpaulin and shoots at the old man's glasses. The sun rays passing through the holes of the tarpaulin falls on the glasses of the old man. So here the divided pace on the old man's spectacles, the divided self depicts the poet's religious beliefs and modern skepticism. See the divided face, divided. The mind is divided. Is not completely religious, not completely skeptical. Skepticism, one who does not easily believe all these things. So the passengers or the pilgrims are not of one particular bent up mind. Their minds are divided. Their faiths are divided. On the one hand, they have faith. On the other hand, they are skepticals. They are skeptics. Caste mark is a religious belief. The differences between the old man's religious faith and the traveler are very well presented with the caste mark. The verb shoots and aims, referring to the sun rays, used is in these lines to personify the sun. The sun shoots, he aims. So the poet personifies the sun and the rays. A sword of sunbeam comes to rest gently against the driver's right temple. The bus seems to change direction. At the end of the bumpy ride with your own pace on the either side, when you get off the bus, you don't step inside the old man's head. The sword of sunbeam. Sword of sunbeams indicates the sharpness of the sunrays. The early morning sun rays are very, very sharp. They rest gently against the diver's right temple. The sun rays fall on the right temple of the bus driver because the bus seems to change the direction. When the driver changes the direction of the bus, sun rays fall on his temple, right temple. At the end of the bumpy ride with your own pace on either side, when you get off the bus. When people reach their destination after completing the bumpy ride on the bus, they face the sunrays when they get down from the bus. When they get off from the bus, the sunrays fall on both sides of their faces. You do not step inside the old man's head. With your own pace on either side indicates the hard path one has to take to reach the destination. The pilgrims struggled hard to reach the destination, pilgrim site. They traveled all through the night. The old man's head represents his belief. The travelers who are very young could not get into the old man's head. Means they cannot have the beliefs the old man has. So the poet talks about the differences in faith. Some people have deep faith in religious values. The younger generation doesn't have deep faith in religious values, even when they visit the temple towns. So Arun Kolatkar in this poem, The Bus, talks about the religious faiths of the older generation and the younger generation. The bus is a symbol for the journey of the people. They start from one point of place and move to another point of place. The 2 points, starting point and the ending point, are totally different. They move from materialistic place to a spiritual or a religious place. There are different types of travelers: young travelers, old travelers, belonging to different generations. Some have deep religious faiths and some do not have any faiths at all. They simply go to the temple town to see the temples and enjoy the sights. So the bus by Arun Kolatkar is the first in the 31st poems in his collection Jejur. There are 31 poems in the collection titled Jejuri. This poem is the first one in that collection. It is a free verse of 25 lines, carelessly arranged to form the poem. That is the style of Arun Kolatkar. The poem has no specific rhyme scheme. It is one of the well-known poems in Indian English literature. He has employed the commonplace experience to reveal a more complex revelation. Bus journey is a very commonplace experience. But the destination that they reach is not that fruitful. It is a simple descriptive poem about the journey to Jejuri. He has captured the scenes outside and inside in the well designed images. With his objective view and phrases like you look down, your own divided face, your elbow. You get up the bus, take the readers on a journey to Zezuri. The poet uses these expressions and he makes an objective view of the journey. The poem is loosely set structure and his choice of simple language help to deal with his major themes, the journey of India. The poem is conversational in tone, for the poet keeps talking and giving guidance to the visitor about the experience of traveling on a bus to Jejuri. The theme and setting of the poem The Bus. The theme of the poem is about the visitor's travel experience. First one. The poet contrasts religious faith and opinion between the old and the younger generation or the modern generation. The last line, you do not step inside the old man's head, talks of the inflexibility of the modern generation, which has no patience to listen to the stories or experience of the old people. The younger generation do not pay attention to the experiences, feelings, and emotions of the older generation. The whole poem is set on the bus, along with various screenshots of images at different times of the journey. The speaker is addressing a visitor who is on his way to Jejuri along with the fellow passengers. This could also be interpreted as an advice to a person who is on a way to or going to a pilgrimage site called Jejuri. Thank you for listening. Let us see some multiple choice questions. Arun Kolatkar's first collection of poems in English is Jejuri, Bijki Wahi, Kalakoda, Sarpashastra. The key is Jejuri. The sun has risen quietly. It aims through an eyelet in tarpaulin and shoots at the old man's glasses. The figure of speech used in these lines is simile, metaphor, personification, hyperbole. Personification. The poem contrasts the religious faith and opinion between the old and the younger generation, the passengers and the speaker, Indians and the Europeans, men and women. The key is the old and the young generation. The expression in the poem, with your own pace on either side, indicates the hard path one has to take to reach the destination. Traveler pacing both sides of the road. Comfortable journey the travelers enjoy. Beautiful scenery enjoyed on the way. The key, the hard path one has to take to reach the destination. The travelers are traveling to Jejuri, a temple town, in the morning, at night, in the daylight, in twilight, at night. Thank you for watching.